Good morning, good evening, my people, man. It's good to be back. And today I'm dropping a mid-taper with waves tutorial. If you could see, his hair is picked out. He does not have his hair laid. He has been wolfing for a very long time. And this is my buddy Tyrone. Shout out to Tyrone. But my brother lost some progress. So hopefully we'll find out how much progress he's got and if he retained any waves. But the sides are a little thinner, and we usually do a 1.5 on the sides, top, back, and we'll use the 2 on the crown just to keep that crown a little thicker. And we're gonna rock with the mid taper, and hopefully he can put in that work to bring the sides back and connect that. So in order for that to happen, I do not want to take the side tapers too high. So I'm starting in the back and I'm doing my first guideline. I'm doing that with my gold FX trimmers, just taking that up, making sure that line is completely straight. And then I begin with my first section, which is the no guard completely open. And I'm going up an inch, making sure that it's even from ear to ear and just staying consistent. Next section is my 1 guard completely open. And I'm just gonna do the exact same thing, take it up an inch and have a clear and a profound foundation. That way it makes my blending a lot easier. But shoot, man, I do apologize for the focus on this video. If you'll notice, it's gonna come in and out of focus. I was messing with some new angles and I like this angle. I just got to get the focus right. But other than that, we go back in with the 1 guard completely closed, and we're taking off that middle line. Depending on the hair, it should take it off. On him, it's only gonna soften it up, and we can detail it later. But this is what we're doing. We're making sure we comb down as we're fading that line out. And we move on to our next section, which is the 2 guard. And this 2 guard is completely closed. This should blend into that 1.5 with the grain. And that'll be the last step, or the last section. And if you notice, I'm doing a lot of combing down just because I don't want his hair to curl up towards the top. We want that hair to lay right down into the taper fade. Then I go with my 1.5 guard. This is completely closed, and all I'm doing is pointing out them dark spots, not creating no guideline. I'm not trying to fade too much. All I'm doing is taking down them dark spots just to make it a smoother transition. And as you can see, the fade is coming out real sharp after we do this no guard completely open, and we take out this bottom line. It should come together real nice. So now I got it halfway closed, and I'm going towards that bottom line, kind of just using my corners, flicking out, making sure I keep that C motion, close the clipper all the way, and I attack that bottom line. You want to make sure when you're using the no guard completely closed, you stay very careful in just using your corners and doing a lot of flicking. Now what I'm doing now is just detail work. Whatever that 1 guard that didn't pick up when creating those sections, this half guard will. So I got it completely open. I'm just using my corners, making sure I scoop up while I comb down, staying real consistent. It's important to remember exactly where your steps were, so that way you know what guard to use in that area. And all I'm doing is attacking them dark spots. Whatever I see, I'm playing with the lever If that dark spot doesn't come out, I take the lever down a little bit closed and I flick it out. Everyone's hair is completely different, so even though that one guard would have took it down on the other side, it might not take it down on this side. So you might use a half guard here. I take my one guard open and I'm detailing that top of the fade, making sure it blends right into that 1.5 into that length. And just like that, we move right into the side taper. And the same thing, I'm going to create my first guideline. And I'm creating this guideline right as if the glasses, if he were to wear sunglasses that curve around the ear, that hook, my bad, the hook would go right around the ear. That's where I want to make my first guideline. Now I take my first section, the same thing, I'm doing no guard, completely open, going up about 1 inch. Now I have my one guard and I'm flicking up. Same thing, doing about 1 inch. Then I close it up and I attack that line. And all I'm doing is soften it up, making sure I have a super flat and smooth transition. I slap on my 2 guard. This will be the last guard I use to blend into the hair. Like I said in the back, you do not want to take this too high or create a section. All you're doing is blending it out, blending it to the longest part of the hair. Then I take my 1.5 guard and I'm just removing dark spots. Now I drop down to my no guard open, using only my corners. It's important when doing the side taper to try to use nothing but the corners. And I close it halfway and I'm attacking that bottom line. Same thing, just staying super consistent. Now I dropped it all the way to take out the last part of the bottom line, and this should blend it in all together. Anything after that would be considered detail work, so I'm going in with my half guard, making sure I'm detailing my fade. This is the most important part. This is really what separates you from your average barbershop cut to a detailed barber cut. Your clients will appreciate it and the tip will show. So always pay attention, train your eye. If you're just starting off, you want to continue to watch a whole bunch of videos and get that get your mental reps in, so that way you're able to see what detailed barbers are able to see. Now I'm gonna go to the other side and just fast forward this for you guys. Make sure you guys just do the same exact steps, and we'll get back to it in the lineup. And now we're back, and all I'm doing is hitting my client with some hairspray, holding spray to hold his line up in place and make for a super crisp line. And this is actually my favorite part, the most satisfying part. You putting in that line and you can see your fade come out real nice. I'm using just about maybe 3 teeth of the blade right here just to get that smooth C over the ear. Man, this is my favorite part. It just makes makes all the work you did with fading come together. Most satisfying part, man. If you a barber and you know this is, and you constantly cutting hair, you know this is the most satisfying part. Shoot. And I'm just glad to be back, man. I've done a taper video before on my channel, but I've never done a wave taper tutorial, so I decided to come back and show you guys the difference between a regular taper and a taper with waves. It's important that you keep the size low. I was expecting my boy Tyrone to come in with his waves intact, but his brushing wasn't all there, and he know it. But still, if you still doing a wave cut, you want to make sure you keep that side taper real low. Wavers do want to keep their waves as low as possible, as low towards the fade as possible, should I say. So yeah, just make sure you keep that fade low and crisp, just like I did here. You see it's coming together. Make sure we get that line, that C cup right, and basically bring my boy back. But yeah, he's been backstory though. He's been brushing ever since he got his cut, and I'm not gonna lie, he got his waves on the side coming back in. His connections aren't as strong. Of course, that's gonna take some time, but he's got the waves back in. So it took him a couple days to bounce back. And right here, I'm using some enhancements. I got 2 barber cards, business cards, and that's how I make my own personal card. But you just want to make sure that you got a crisp lineup before you go ahead and use the enhancements. But dang, I do apologize for the blurriness of this video. I didn't notice it was this bad in some parts. But I hope you guys are sticking with me and appreciating the quality of the cut and the quality of the voiceovers, and having you guys follow the steps with me. But I promise, just stick with me to the end, and you're gonna see a real banger on this one. So I do the same thing on this side, and I believe the enhancements I'm using on this cut is by Kiss Express. It's called Temptation. Really good semi-permanent. It seems to last a little longer than your regular canned enhancement. And what I mean by that is usually the canned enhancement are a one-day thing. It'll come right off, or even by smearing it with your finger. But this one is a little closer to actually applying it with the brush. So I do like it, and it's quick, fast, and gets the job done. So now I'm going in with my razor, and I put a little bit of shaving gel in there just to soften up the skin. And we're gonna make sure that his waves are laid down. I want to make sure we get a good final for you guys. So if you made it this far, I appreciate you making it this far with me. Make sure that you subscribe and like the video, only if you did. And look at that, man, that's a banger right there. Got my boy cheesing, showing the pearly whites with the clean taper. And yeah, man, we got him back with the nice mid-ball taper. And like I said, man, I'll see you guys in the next one. Appreciate you.